Hello, everyone. Okay, so I have to wait a few minutes until the YouTube catches up with the StreamYard and they talk to each other and say, hey, guess what? She's live. But I know you're out there because I can see comments already. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Carolyn. Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Sasheen. If you're new to this party, this is our tea break on a Tuesday, very rainy afternoon we've got going on. Um, anyway, as I was saying, if you're new to the party, we take a 30-minute tea break together. We can chit chat, we can drink in silence. The goal here is to continue to promote our peace, to continue to promote our sense of well-being, and to find a little slice of respite in what can sometimes be a very, very crazy world. So welcome to our tea time. Hopefully you get yourself something wonderful to drink, and we will hang out. I'm just waiting for YouTube to talk to the StreamYard to let people know that I'm actually out here. I see some of you have already said hi to a few of you in case you missed it. I see you, Michelle. I see you, Carolyn. And I just said hi to any newcomers that might come in. So we're still here. If you saw my post this morning, very tongue in cheek, I admit it. But we're still here because word on the TikTok streets, I'm not even on TikTok. So you know that if it made it all the way to me, then it got off the TikTok streets. But word on the TikTok streets was that the rapture was supposed to happen today. I went to bed, y'all. So I assume if it was going to happen, the folks who were going to be raptured away would be gone. I knew I wasn't going to be one of them. I wasn't terribly concerned. But it appears that most of us are still here. So since we're still here, we should break tea together and have a little bit of a, just a peace-filled moment in what can sometimes be a very, very chaotic day. Because it's 11 o'clock where I am, which means it's really early on the West Coast and not quite so early on the East Coast, but we've all been up long enough to need a break. Okay, so what are we drinking this morning? Um, Coffee ready, Michelle. You are my coffee girl. I don't drink coffee, but I hear wonderful things about coffee. Here's the funny story. I probably would like coffee just fine, except I grew up in a town with a coffee plant. And as a little girl, one of the things that you get used to is the smell of burnt coffee because sometimes coffee burns when you're roasting it, right? So we would have to get used. It was the Folgers plant. So Folgers coffee used to brew. We used to have a plant in Kansas City, and so you would just get this really acrid burning smell. And I don't know if it was them burning the coffee or what was happening, but the beans and that smell. It's like a intense sense memory. So as I grew older, I never can separate coffee smells like it's burning to me. It doesn't even matter if it's not burning, it always just smells like it's burning because um it's just it's just that memory that I have now that I've had since I was a little girl. And I've tasted coffee and it tastes fine. It tastes kind of bitter. And I don't think you should put nearly as much sweet stuff in it as I would need to make it palatable for me. So I just don't drink it. However, I know people who love coffee, and I buy coffee for my friends. So, um, Carolyn, you're having cider. I love cider. And today, the second day of fall, welcome to fall, everyone. I kind of thought maybe we would be talking about the first day of fall today, kind of what are our plans for the next 3 months before winter? How are we going to handle the changing temperatures and whatnot? But instead, we're talking about the rapture. I don't know what happened, y'all. I didn't get the memo. All I got was the email that said, hey, rapture on Tuesday, be prepared. But I hear wherever this started, certain people were taking it pretty seriously. And they were contacting folks about, watching their animals and looking after their people when they were gone, which I don't want to turn this into a religious discussion. If you believe, then that's fine. If you don't believe, that's fine for me as well. But if you are a believer, I guess I would have to say, from my understanding and recollection of learning about this when I was in Bible school as a kid, nobody really knows who would be raptured. So to start preemptively giving away all your stuff seems pretty cheeky, considering the circumstances. But hey, that's just me. That's just me. Who am I, right? Um, Yeah, so Carolyn, I think for those of us who grew up like near these kind of plants, there always is this sense memory. something, I don't know if I don't know that Folgers was burning their beans. Like I assume they probably weren't, but man, something in the either the prep pot, whatever, it always smelled like it was something was burning in there. And it wasn't all the time. Like it was random, it was randomly, right? It's like it wasn't every single time that you could smell roasting beans, but sometimes, man, it was like, did y'all leave the burners on too long? Like, what is happening here? The same thing holds true for dog food. I used to drive when I was working in a place called Parkville. I'd have to drive past the dog food plant, and the smell of, I don't know what they were doing in there, but the smell of either roasting it or cooking it or whatever, the dog food, I can't smell certain dog foods because they carry that smell with them, and it's a terrible smell. Which also means if I open that bag, and when I own dogs, if I would open a bag of dog food and that smell was in there, I wouldn't feed it to my dogs because I was like, I don't know what that plant was doing, but that can't be good for an animal. Like, it just can't. Hey Cicely, good morning to you. The leftovers. Listen, like I said, you know, whatever you believe, I'm not here to talk about what you believe and don't believe. All I will say is, if you believe that the rapture is possibly going to happen, then I still think it's a little cheeky to think that you're going to be raptured, right? It seems arrogantly presumptuous to start selling your stuff because you're going. That's all I'm gonna say about it. That's all I'm gonna say about it. We have a friend with a tiny coffee shop. I don't like when they're roasting beans. It all Thank you. So I'm not crazy. Because I would always think, how can you burn so many beans all the time? And it wasn't all the time, but it was often enough that I have that stuck in my memory as what coffee smells like. And I hate the smell of roasting coffee because it just smells like it's burning. It just smells like it's burning. Um, I always say I'm spiritual, not religious. Yes, I follow a spirituality that is not based in the Christian faith. So the rapture was never going to come for me. But that doesn't mean that people who believed it weren't really prepared for today, I guess. The leftovers. I need to watch this. Okay. But in honor of the fact that we're all still here, we're still here. I thought we'd break out some specialty tea today. So I have teas that I break out on. I have my everyday teas, like you've seen the Tazo that I like to drink. Today we're breaking out the Vadam teas. These are teas from India. Um, this particular set, I love the design of their boxes. I don't know if y'all can see that very well, but I love the design of their boxes. Um, but they have all kinds. So in this box, I have, this is sweet cinnamon. We have a Maharani oolong as well, and they're just loose teas. So I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that, but they're just loose teas. Um, so today, in honor of still being here, which either says something about my character or nothing about my character, depending on who you ask, we're gonna have a ginger chai. And I've already got, because it's a loose tea, I already have my tea ball filled with my tea. I have a butterfly tea ball. So I'm going to go ahead and pour it up. So give me a second. If not, I'll end up with tea dust everywhere. Because as you all know, if you do loose teas, you know they're wonderful, but they can also get put dust everywhere, depending on the kind of tea. And since it's a chai, it has all the spices and stuff that kind of float to the bottom. So now that I'm making a small mess, all right, let me get some hot water in the cup, and we can get this steeping. And because it's a loose, it may not actually steep. It should steep in time for me to drink some, but oh, so I have my butterfly, my tea, and now I just wait. I just wait. So, let me see. Let me catch up on comments. I'm gonna have to look up the leftovers too. This could be fun. I know. Coffee can be fancy though. I purchased some coffee for people. But yeah, I do like the fact that tea comes can come in some pretty fantastic packaging. They have a turmeric tea that I'd like to get my hands on, but they keep things down. So one of these days, I haven't tried their turmeric tea yet, but we use turmeric in a lot of our when I'm making curries and stuff. We use a lot of turmeric around here. We keep the local spice shop busy. So yeah, I do like the pretty boxings. The pretty boxings. So I'm not being spicy, Cicely. I'm just saying. I just think it's really arrogantly presumptuous to start selling your belongings for the rapture. That's really assuming that you're going to be raptured. I remember my vacation Bible study. I was in a Baptist church for the first 21 years of my life. I'm fairly certain that is not how it's done. But okay. you know, you got to do what you got to do. I got this diffuser. There's a place here where I live called Powell Garden, and it's a botanical garden, I guess, and they have a butterfly garden. So one of the ways they have to raise money and things like that is they sell merch. So I got this up there. Probably had this for 10 years now. I got this there when I used to live here. So um, I need to get one to make apple cider. I haven't yet to figure out how to make a good apple cider. We should talk about this, ladies. So, what are some of the fun drinks that you make for fall? Because it's the second day of fall. We're done rapturing, right? We're all still here, and we are better for being here than we would be anyplace else. Okay, so what are the fun drinks for fall that are not coffee and tea based? Give me some ideas. I love a good cider. Um, see, tell them, Michelle. Terrible. See, listen. I got stuff to do today. I did not have time to be taken up, even if for some reason I made the short list, which wasn't going to happen. But still, bad timing. Bad timing. But I'm telling you, they are having some fun with this on the interwebs. And honestly, in light of everything that's happening in the world, a little tongue in cheek humor today probably wasn't a terrible thing. But it's also the second day of fall, right? Here we are. I love the second day. I love fall. Not so hot, not cold yet. Perfect in between weather. Mulled cider. I do. I love apple ciders. I love hot chocolate. Holy cow. Hang on. I'm ready. I'm ready. Silly cow. This one is I think this one is a chocolate truffle. We're ready. So I got my hot chocolates. I'm gonna have to find a good apple cider. I don't have a good apple cider mix, and I'm not sure if I could make it as well as other places. Like I like a good robust cider. I want it to be sweet, but with like a spicy kick to it. Kind of like what you can get at state fairs sometimes. They can have that cider that's just nice and spicy, but not too. It's sweet, but it's spicy. I like the sweet and spicy. Good morning, Wendy. Welcome to the discussion. Right now, we're discussing fall drinks. I'm steeping some tea. Michelle's got some coffee. Carolyn's got some cider. Cicely, what are you drinking this morning? I'm gonna have to send you some hot chocolate. Do you like chocolate truffle? This one's chocolate truffle. I think they have several different kinds though. I used to have a friend in France who would send me chocolates. Listen, I need that friendship back. Need that friendship back. I've had mulled wine. I don't mind mulling spices. Um, some of the spices in mulling spices can be a little astringent to me just because of how my taste buds run. So I have to be careful. But I like spicy stuff, so I tend to like mulled wine because it's got a nice little spice to it. So apple ciders, hot chocolates, coffees, teas. For winter, I will make sure I keep a bottle of whiskey on hand for hot toddies or whiskey based medicinals, which I think these should make a comeback. I think like the liquor based medicinals should make a comeback because honestly, not that I want people to start drinking heavily. That's not what I'm saying to you. But I know that in the deep winter months, having like a little hot toddy before bed is fantastic. It worked for me better than melatonin did when I would have trouble sleeping. Water with lemon and lime. You're about to go for a walk? It is pouring here. It is pouring down rain here. So kudos to you for having some clear weather because I would be like, Cicely, take a raincoat and a boat because you're gonna need one. A good rum. Yes, I try to keep a good whiskey in the house. I don't usually have a good rum, but that's a good point. Maybe I need to make sure I get a good rum. I keep a clear alcohol, so a good vodka. And it's got to be a good one, right? Because if you're going to put it in things, you want the taste to be palatable to you. And so we're past the age where we're going to drink cheap stuff. We're just not going to do that. We're not going to do it. Okay, we're still steeping. Oh, I'm so jealous. Beautiful sunshine today, but we need the rain here. We definitely needed the rain. So we've covered what we're drinking. Oh, what is, hang on. See, a cup of tea with a shot of, I'm telling you, some of the best sleep is whiskey, maybe in my hot chocolate or my tea, and honey, and possibly a shot of lemon. Girl, happy girl. Happy girl. Okay, Wendy, what is this? What is Gluane? I'm intrigued. What are we drinking here? Oh. Okay, Wendy, you gotta tell us what this Gluane is. I've never heard of it before, and I can't, I mean, I could look it up for myself, but we're having a conversation. I wanna know. I wanna know. Um, you can run vodka through a Brita filter. Ah, be darned. I'm gonna tell you that my favorite vodka is not terribly expensive. It's Absolute. It's got a nice, smooth flavor to it. It's not terribly expensive. They make an Absolute wild tea vodka, which has the most amazing flavor to it. And I like flavored things, so I don't like most vodkas because usually it's got that bite. Cheaper vodkas just have that bite off the back, and I can't handle it. But I never knew that you could just run it through a Brita filter to improve the quality. Wish I'd known that in my younger college days when we were drinking things that we shouldn't have been drinking that all of us agreed tasted terrible. Absolutely terrible. Rum cream. Okay, I have heard of rum cream. I've never had it before though. So tell me, what is this flavor? What is this flavor? Oh, it's a German hot wine. Oh, one of my dearest friends in the world is German, and he has never mentioned this to me. Going to let him know he is holding out. Okay. Thank you very much, Wendy. I will be making sure that I check in with my friend over there and say, so talk to me about this hot wine thing because I want to know how do I work this in? How do I work this in? Oh, nice. I love pancakes. My son loves pancakes. It's one of our favorite little, when I can make them. I can make them. We do love it. Oh, okay, that's fine. I'll figure it out. Send some if you have a PO box. Oh my God. Oh, listen, Michelle. I'm telling you, the colder it gets, the more that retreat to Hawaii starts to sound like the thing that we need to be doing right around the winter solstice, right? Like I am in the heart of the country and I don't like the cold. It is not my favorite season. I love fall, good with spring. I'm a summer baby because I was born in the summer. Come winter, I am cranky. I am just cranky. So, if we could figure out how to make that that Hawaii retreat happen, I have friends in Hawaii. I need to get on the phone and see how I can make this happen. I could see us holding a Life Reimagined retreat in Hawaii and spending 6 glorious days. Well, probably six might be too many for y'all, but a few days in the land of Ohana and Aloha and being completely refreshed. Of course, I might never come back because I really hate winter. I really, really hate winter. I have been to the Ghirardelli chocolate store in San Francisco, and I had the most amazing salted caramel hot chocolate of my life. Of my life. It was, I mean, I wanted to lick the cup when I was done because it was so good. Because Ghirardelli knows how to do chocolate, and we were in San Francisco. The huge, they have a huge store there, and it came out on this tray, and the whipped cream was like a mile high, and I had him take it off because I don't like whipped cream on my thing. And the guy said, "Oh no, it's a clotted cream, not a whipped cream." And I was like, "Well, okay." Educate me. So I am drinking this amazing salted caramel hot chocolate in San Francisco. That was a very good moment. So I'm a Ghirardelli chocolate lover as well. This makes me happy. That makes me happy. Oh, a thick Bailey's. Okay. Okay. I'm telling you. So I run this workshop called Life Reimagined, and during one of the workshops, Michelle and I were discussing the fact that it would be wonderful to have a retreat where I could bring. I would keep it small, 10 women max, because I think the intimacy is what's important here. But bring women together to really go through the program, but also to build camaraderie and to build connections, because I'm the part of the reason that I'm doing tea on Tuesdays is because I recognize in my own life, but in the life of in the lives of other people, that the connections that we really want to have, the ones that are fun some days, right, that are not so heavy and so weighty, have to be cultivated. And I want my community to be a place where women come together and support each other and learn from each other and help each other and help to support each other while also having a good time together. That's the whole point. So, oh, hang on. 6 days works because okay. So, one of the things that I wanted to talk about this morning was just tea aside, coffee aside, great drinks aside, was how much I felt like the people who were really um, excited for the rapture to get taken away are people whose peace is it's so broken right now, right? This is about as serious as it's going to get, ladies. I'm telling y'all right now. But I did feel like one of the reasons why I made a point to piggyback off the rapture conversation is because I feel like when the best outcome for your day is that you get taken away from the place that you are because the world is so crappy, your peace has been compromised. And maybe it's time to take a step back and evaluate what it is that you are doing, right? Like if the best outcome for your day is to be taken away from the world that you are in, I don't know what comes in the hereafter. Couldn't tell you. Not a conversation that's beyond my pay grade today. But what I do know is that as hard as life can be, it is literally the only one I get to do, as far as I know. It's the only one I get to do. So I want to live it. I don't want to be raptured away. I don't want to leave my parents and my kid, my friends, this community that we're building. I don't want to leave that behind on the promise that I might get to go to something better. I don't know that that's better or worse. I don't know. But can you imagine waking up and still being here and being mad because you're still alive? like I so the amount of disconnect that I feel is happening around the rapture. Not the ones who are tongue in cheek about it, but the ones who are taking it really seriously. I just feel kind of bad for them. That's the best outcome that you could see for today. The best outcome. And if that's the best outcome, then you need to really evaluate your circle of people. And if all of your circle of people felt like this was about best outcome, then y'all need to break up. That's a bad relationship. Y'all need to break up, break apart, move away from each other, right? Because you want to be with people who say, "How can I help you in this place?" Not, "It'll be fine. We'll all be raptured tomorrow." Come on now, really? That's where we're going with this? We're gonna just throw our hands up and pretend like we have no agency, that we have no authority in our own existence to make it better. That's what we're doing. So for if you run into those people today, and you know you will, you know you will, um, give them a little extra grace. Now, listen, I am a not graceful person sometimes, especially when I feel like you have brought a whole heap and lot of stuff down on your own head, and I'm not about to sit here feeling sorry for you. But I can give you grace for the struggle that we're all in and recognize that perhaps the best way for you in your mind of getting out of the struggle was to be raptured away to some place where there is no struggle. That sounds great. But I got this one thing called life to live, and I don't want to give that up really easily. I don't know what happens next, but I know what happens now, right? Like we know what happens now. We're still here. We have the ability to make our circumstances better, right? We have the option to make our life mean something in a world that may be trying to strip us of that meaning. We have the wherewithal to join groups like this one and say, "Hey, listen, we're going to talk about hot toddies and rum and Baileys and drink tea. And we're going to remind each other that this is living. This is life. And life is worth protecting. And it isn't worth giving it away because the struggle is too hard. because the struggle is hard for all of us. So thank you for showing up for me today. Thank you for being in this space and being willing to have a conversation about silly things on a day when I know a lot of people are probably out there really struggling right now. Let's see. Yeah, I was really like, people probably woke up today upset that they are still here. And I'm up here going, I knew I wasn't going to be taken, so this is fine. But how, to wake up and just be mad because, oh my gosh. And one of my friends pointed out, this is probably what, the third or fourth rapture. If you've been on the planet 50 plus years, this is at least your third rapture, right? At least. You lived through you've lived through a couple of them. Y2K was the last big one, right? That was the last big one when we were all certain that the clocks were going to change, like the world was coming to an end. Was Y2K, the 2000. We're going from 1999 to 2000. So my friend reminded me, we've been down this road a few times already. And so if I guess if this one's real, okay, but they seem to be pretty cyclical and attached to some kind of mass hysteria, right? Save me a spot in the retreat. Oh, absolutely. People are emotionally struggling, but this, yes, the perils of groupthink is how we get horrible things happening in history. And we look back and go, how did people just let it happen? The perils of groupthink. That's exactly how it happens because in a group, we tend to absolve ourselves of individual responsibility. And because we can absolve ourselves of our individual responsibilities in the group, whatever the group does, we can do it too because it wasn't us, it was the group, right? We lose autonomy in the group. This is why groups are so dangerous when they begin to gain momentum and get bigger and bigger because in a group, people who would never do something individually will do something in a group. Um, so yeah, the perils of groupthink are unfortunately history has too many examples of that. But I also think about the the way in which groups can bring us back to life, right? When we find the right group that supports us in a positive way, how that can pull us from the darkness and help us find the light again. So to those people out there who are not having a tea break with their girlies on a Tuesday, I hope they find something that helps bring them joy today. Like I find joy in the fact that I have raw honey to put in my very lovely tea. So what happens here? Okay, back to my tea. I've now steeped. It's looking nice and beautiful, and it's a chai, so it's got that nice earthy aroma going on. I like to then take my milk for chai. I always use milk and wash some milk through the tea ball to grab the last of those spices before I take the tea ball out. Because I'm going to use the milk in the tea anyway, so I might as well use the milk to rinse out the tea ball. And then I'll put the honey in, and I might even have a cinnamon stick around here. Let's check that out. So, all right. So, yes, MLK did have it right. MLK absolutely has it right. I don't add heavy cream to my tea. I use almond milk. So I use almond milk. That's what I like. It has a nice, I use a creamy almond milk to be exact. I like that. I don't do regular milk in too many things. I like yogurt, whole milk yogurt, and heavy cream I use when I am making mashed potatoes. I always use heavy cream in mashed potatoes. And if I'm making like butter, because I just happen to run out of butter and we haven't gone to the store, I can make butter really quickly with a heavy cream. Otherwise, just almond milk. So I don't think so. I don't think most people were. And again, I'm not on TikTok, but I understand it was really catching fire on TikTok. But like I was saying, for me to hear about it like off TikTok, people were talking about how they had people contacting them to say things like, "Hey, if I'm raptured tomorrow, would you take care of the animals?" And I thought, there's somebody in your world who actually believes that they're going to be raptured or that there's a possibility and they're trying to make plans. That just seems odd. That seems very strange, especially if you're Gen X. We've lived through a couple of raptures and we're still here, y'all. We're still here. Okay. Oh, oat milk. I'll have to try that. I will have to try that. Yeah, that's the one thing about not being a cow's milk person is you sometimes lose the creaminess factor. I will try oat milk. I tried soy milk for a while, and that's not too bad. Um, but I prefer my soy fermented, which I don't want to drink fermented milk if I can help it. So tofu is great, soy milk, yeah. So I switched to almond milk, but I will try oat milk. That's not a bad idea. All right, ladies, I promise you 30 minutes, and we have reached the end of the rainbow. I was thinking that we could start talking about um, the coming season. Like, what do you do for the holidays? Do you decorate? We love to start decorating for the holidays, so you'll start to see pumpkins and fall decor showing up in the background, and then Christmas comes, and I have a huge Christmas tree and lots of fun ornaments, and so you're gonna start to get that. And I hope what that helps us all do is remember that we are here to live, regardless of if it's 265 days into what has appeared to be the longest year of our life, right? Like, we can all agree that's probably the case. It's the longest year of our life, but we're still here. And as long as we are still here, what is our job? Our job is to protect our peace. That doesn't mean that we check out from the world. It doesn't mean that we ignore what's happening. It does mean that we prioritize our peace and we make it a priority to protect it at all costs. And if that means that we got to cut off some folks who are annoying us, that's what we do. If that means we have to leave a country that no longer serves us, then that's what we do, because we have to still live in this world. Regardless of whatever else is happening, we have to still live in this world. So we need to be living in it. And part of that is protecting our peace. Um, Oh yeah, Michelle, listen. We were Y2K'ing it like crazy. We had batteries and all kinds of stuff. Like, the whole world was preparing for this one event because it didn't even occur to us that people had already figured out that you could just change the clock and it would be okay. I blame Prince. If you haven't listened to 1999, go listen to it. I blame Prince. He had us all on edge. I'm gonna blame Prince because I love Prince, so I'm gonna go blame Prince. And yes, trust me, meeting amazing people in Hawaii is a really good idea. I also think Costa Rica might not be a terrible idea either. Or maybe even San Miguel de Allende, Mexico. I got some things in my head. I have forgotten nothing. I have some things in my head, and that retreat is one of them. Okay, it's 11:32. Thank you all so much. Cicely, go enjoy your walk. The videos documenting Y2K. They're hilarious now, but at the time, we were scared witless. We absolutely knew that the world was going to, like, computers were going to crash, civilization was going to come to a standstill. It was just going to be absolute and utter chaos. I'm telling you, I blame Prince. He had us thinking that 2000 party over, oops, out of time. It's his fault. It's his fault. I'm telling you. If he hadn't planted the seed, well, it's not his fault, but it's totally his fault. If he hadn't planted the seed that we needed to party like it's 1999 because 2000 was coming and we were all going to die, we were so gullible. But we had good, we had the good sense to make it a party, right? We at least had the good sense to think, well, we're just going to party into the apocalypse. If we have to go, we're going to have a good time. This is what I'm saying. We know how to live through our end of the times pretty well. Like, we know how to go, okay, well, if this is coming, then I'd rather be dancing to Prince than sitting in a bunker, right? Who wants to sit in a bunker with people who are sitting in a bunker? None of us want to be sitting in a bunker. Okay, I got to get ready for my next thing. Thank you all for hanging with me. I will see you next week. If you're new here, you join on the replay, say hey to us, join the conversation, let us know who you are. We're always happy to expand the tent for all who want to join us. Have a good one, and I will see you on Thursday when the new video drops. Have a good one. Bye.